Hi guys, Dave in Texas here, and what you're looking at is a Shure Vocal Master 1969, and it's a it's a vocal amplifier they used to make, and it's also going to do guitars, but it's extremely dirty. Okay, the only thing I can do on this, it works perfectly. It's got scratchy pots on it, which I'll plug in here in a little bit, let you listen to it as I turn the master and the volume on these different settings. Once I plug it in, you'll hear how scratchy these pots are. Unbelievable. And it's got every type of control in and out you can think of, just for doing vocals. Alright? It's multi-channel, and it's multi jacks in the back. They're also scratchy, and I'll have to clean those out as well. But as far as I can tell, there's nothing wrong with this amplifier other than that it just needs to be cleaned up, and the pots are just really scratchy dirty. So let me cut away. I'll plug it in and turn it and plug into this cab. This is that cab I just fixed, right? Ta-da! Let you hear what it sounds like. So hang in there, guys. Be right back. Okay, so what we got, guys, is scratchy pots. Hear that? That's on channel 2. That's the master volume. Okay. I think that's the majority of them. On each channel got problems. I thought I had some dropout on the master volume. I thought I had some dropout, but maybe not. Yeah. No? Yeah, a little bit dropout on the very first. They'll drop out on the first end, but that's it, guys. It just needs to be getting these things out, get them out and get them clean, and go from there. And listen to it when we're finished, so it nice and sounds good. So let me break away, and while I take this thing apart and get the chassis out of the cabinet, let's see what it looks like on the inside. So hang in there. Well, this is the inside of it, and you can see that is pretty thick on there dirt. This light bulb is a bulb, not a power tube. Is burned out. The other one works, believe it or not, after 60 or 50 years or so, 40 something years. But look at that transformer, all that dirt on there. Now the one thing you gotta be real careful about when you clean out these old amps when they're this bad, of course I've never seen one this bad still work, but what you gotta be careful about is everything's so crispy in it that you don't break anything free or cause a bad jump with some dirt or something. So what I'll be doing, I'll be taking a very flippy paintbrush, very flippy, and I'll be brushing all this dirt out here I can get out. I won't be using it. Oh, somebody likes me. Hold in there, guys. Busy day. Somebody likes me. Okay, back again. Guys calling about the free setups for the guitars, which I'm offering. Free setups if you'll do my videos or let me do the videos of your guitar and you playing it. Right now, I have to get the tools out to get these knobs off, but these are the pots I need to be concerned about, the scratchy ones and the master volume down there. Get those working again. And I've got just the perfect stuff to use on it. It's that liquid. Alright, and I've got the perfect stuff to use on these scratchy pots. It's not the spray-on type. It's the liquid deoxit. This is more, it's very expensive, but it works so much better. You know, it gets in there and doesn't have any fluorocarbons go in there with it. And when you can get in here and get to these like this, you know, it works pretty well, you know. So I'll take the fronts of the knobs off. I'll be tilting this over where it's safe to tilt, not damaging the power tubes back here. And spread that deoxit in there, right? And get these things running again, so no more sound coming out, or no more scratchy sound coming out when you're changing them up. But look at this, man! Oh man, have you ever seen one this dirty that still works? And it works pretty good. You know, it pushes this big old cab pretty good, the 6-speaker cab. So let me cut away, put this camera back on the stand, and I'll show you how to clean these things up. So hang in there. Okay, well you can see that the heat sinks are coming somewhat clean. They're going to need some water on them to just you know, damp to get them clean, not anything wet hardly. And get this chassis a little more cleaned out. It's still pretty dirty. You can't really push that hard with this type of brush. It's got too much flip in it, but that's good because it protects the part from being you know, pushed and shoved where it don't need to be pushed and shoved. But man, look at all this dirt on this heatsink. These transistors right in the middle of it. So you imagine those are pretty hot transistors. Look at that right on a heat sink. Look at that. Wow. That's just all on there. Now, obviously on the inside, I'll be taking a smaller brush. I don't want to brush this vigorously on it, but that transformer is just covered with the gook, and it's just burnt on there, it looks like. Hang in there, guys, when the noise starts. Okay, well I'm going as gently as I can on this thing, hoping not to pull anything loose. But everything in here is just so crispy and rusted. I don't know. I mean, the more I clean on it, the worse I think it's going to get. You know, you have a chance of breaking something free because all the contacts in here are rusted on these transistors. It looks like they're about to break in half just if you breathe on them. But I will do this. I'm going to take the smaller brush, get in there and turn this thing around. I'm going to get to it a little easier and see if I can't get some of that major stuff out of the power board here and see what I can do to help clean that thing up. You'll look and see. All that's just way too much, and it's dangerous really. That could start a fire, you know. That's kind of dangerous, but let's get that all cleaned out and set up, and I'll be using this little tiny brush to make sure that I don't break anything free, and go from there. So hang in there, guys. I'm just going to do this off camera instead of, you know, let you listen to a lot of noise and dust flying. Alright, so we're back working on the Shure Master Voice, and like I said before, I've been cleaning it out little by little with a nice soft brush so I'm doing damage to these parts. And always you have to be concerned about breaking something free or actually creating another link by what you're moving around in here in case the wire's loose and creating a bad jumper or breaking a wire free that's a little rotted or crusty. But the majority of parts look to be in you know, decent shape. There's some that are really bad looking, but everything on the amp's working. So not to add cost to this project for the owner, what I'm going to do, guys, go in here and use some of this. It's liquid deoxit. It's the best they make. And what I'll do is just liberally put this inside the potentiometers that are scratchy and just go from there. Okay? Just let that just seep into that pot. And see what kind of results we get. And I don't want to disassemble this thing, add more time to it, but if this doesn't work, this we'll have to do is take the connectors off the pots and get them in there and open them up and put some of this in there with it. Which normally what you do in this circumstance, you spray. This is a very old amplifier. I don't want to do any more harm by spraying in contaminants and fluorocarbons and junk that's inside of the spray deoxit. Now this is not a very expensive amp. It's only worth about $200 on the market, if it's working in good condition. And I'm sure the owners want to spend $400 or $500 on the repair of the thing. It's just ridiculous. Spend that kind of money on something that's not worth that much. But since it's working anyway, let's go ahead and see what we can do to get these pots working. That liquid's going right inside there very well now. It's just seeping right in. That's what we want. So we're going to give that some time to get in there and drip down into the pots. Then we'll start moving them about, just with the handles, just moving back and forth, and so we can't get that deoxit to spread out more in there. And if that doesn't work, we're going to consider spraying it. I hope we don't have to, but like I said, I do not want to disassemble this amp and cause this guy, more charges. Just to be, silly, because it's worth that much. But I'm pretty sure with the liquid deoxit seeping in there as well as the spray, that should pretty much do the trick on this thing. So hang in there, guys, while we give some time to move about inside of it. Well, we got that fixed. A little spray to it. It finally got along with the liquid. No more scratchy. So that's done. Good. Well, time to close this thing up before it falls apart on me. I've already tested all the other channels the same way. Nice and clean. It's a clean machine. So that's kind of a quick little fix, which I love those types. Let's turn this baby off. Let the capacitors down low, and we'll put it back into its case where it belongs. Nice, safe, and snug. Any questions, give me a holler. David, Texas. Bye. Well, you're looking at the Shure again. It's back in its case. It's back working again. No more scratchy pots on it. I soaked those and sprayed them all. Everything on it seems to be working pretty well. Of course, now we got this nasty weather. You can hear the rain in the background. So a lot of the guitars I had planned to work on that can't work on, unfortunately. I can't work on when there's humidity's like this and the temperature's low. I can't work on those guitars, especially the acoustic ones that need frets, because the temperature's too low and it's too much humidity. Nothing will stick. I ended up with the same problem I had before, prop frets. It's like, damn, now what? Or some people would take it inside and try it, but I'm not going to do it. I've already been there once, and some people would take and vice grip them, each individual fret as they glued it up, but still there's a high opportunity for that fret to pop, and I'm just not going to do it. So we're back on the Shure PA system that doubles up as an amp for guitars, microphones, whatever you want. It does it, and does a pretty decent job of it if I had better speakers to hook it up to, but unfortunately I've only got the old cab it goes to. Alright, now what I'm going to do right this minute, I've got the Shure emblem and nameplate off. I pulled the cab out. This came off with it. Somebody had stuck it back on there and stuck it to the cab itself, so I got to put it back on there. But first things first, I get all this old glue and all this old material off there. It's like double-sided tape they used. And the best thing I know of to use is stuff called Goo Be Gone, or Goo Off. And once I find something to open it up with, I'll get this on there and get this cut off this nameplate. And of course, it's always a case of trying to reach things in my shop. Well, I got this many amps here. Like, wow. If you could see the number of amps and guitars I got laying around, amazing. And every one of them, except a few, a bunch of them are free setups, granted, but most of them have problems. Most of them have, individual breaks, individual issues with them that I got to fix. So what we do with this, we put this stuff on liberally liberally. Sorry guys. And just let it sit. Just work it back and forth on this nameplate. Get this crap off here. Now we will not be putting this on the cab. We're going to use a safety razor to scrape that off with. And right now I have this thing, I have it all draining into a trash can. I'll empty this later so nothing catches on fire. But you want to get this thing soaked nice and wet all over. Let the excess drain off into the trash can. And let it sit there for about a half an hour. Right? And while that's doing its work, I'll be over here working on this double-sided tape, get that off with a safety razor. And that's about the best way you can do it, bar none. Oh boy. And what you don't want to use are chemicals on your cabinet, especially this goopy gone stuff. It's got naphtha in it, and it can really screw up the glue that's on your cabinet holding the Tolex together, as well as discolor it. You know, that naphtha, it can discolor all kinds of materials, and that we don't want. This thing's been doing nothing as it is. My safety razor's out. I'll be getting this stuff off here off the cabinet once I find one out of its case. And the thing I do, guys, I don't know if most people do, but I put these all back into the case if I'm not using them very much, you know, very sparingly. See, it comes right off. Right tool for the right job. But if I chip it up, or if I'm going to use it on a guitar neck, like a shave job, I'll get a new one. But these on top are all been used. Some of them are a little bit on the dull side, and I'll throw those out when I run across one. So far, this one's doing a good job. And they're not that expensive. It's just I hate throwing things away that you only used once for nothing. And that's kind of like, well, I used it to just open up an envelope or something, you know, something stupid. Waste not, want not. It saves me a trip to the hardware store if I do it, you know, using sparingly and smartly and frugally. Not that I'm cheap, I guarantee you that. I'm not cheap. I get the parts I need, and I usually buy the best I can get my hands on. Which brings me to a story. I'm working on a super reverb Fender right now. I've been working on it for several months. First of all, waiting for the guy to make up his mind whether he wants to do it or not. It's kind of an expensive job. It burned. It caught fire at one of the shows, which that's never a good, you know, circumstance. So it's got several damaged parts on it, and a long line of damaged parts inside of it. And I used to have, well, I had a supplier in Germany that had access to all these new old stock parts for the Fender amps. I mean, if I wanted a 7 microfarad 350 volt capacitor, new old stock, he had it. Okay? Unfortunately, he's ran out of everything. People got onto him, or just, I guess he sold out on, you know, somebody ordered them all, just said, how many you got? I'll take them all. Which now looking back, I feel stupid I didn't do it myself. Of course, I didn't think he'd sell every one he had. Anyway, I ordered a complete set for that super reverb, right? Now I waited 3 weeks, sorry guys, I waited 3 weeks for that to come in, those parts. And when I got them out and tested them, they're in worse shape than what I had on there already. they weren't burnt or anything, but they had such a loss to them. V loss, like, God almighty, this is like 20% loss. I mean, this thing's useless. This is worse than what's on there. And I kid you not, it was. It's like, damn it. I can't put these old fuckers on here. You know, they're not burnt out. They're just useless, you know. I mean, they'll sound freaking terrible. So anyway, I had to break down and order new parts, which means I had to go up in microfarads, had to change a few things. And unfortunately, it's going to make that super reverb sound like a new amp, not like an old one, like some people want. That's just the brakes. That's the way it goes. Anyway, that came up real clean and nice and good. I'm going to let this sit a little bit longer and take my safety razor and clean that off, and then I'll show you how we glue that up. So hang in there. Sorry for the noise, guys. Anyway, that's the majority of this glue off here. It's two-sided tape, and it looks almost like it's high glue, and it just smells like it, but I don't know what the hell it is. Anyway, it's almost all off here. Once I get it all off, it's going to go back on the body, and I may just happen to use some two-sided tape to put this on with, but it wouldn't stay on. It would get knocked off the way it sits. So I've got to consider putting on some super glue. Some number 3 super glue that I've got that dries a little slower. But here we go again. Glue issue, humidity, blah, blah, blah. So I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and finish cleaning this thing up, get all the remaining parts of this crap off here, get polished back up where it's nice and clean. It's got a good clean surface to glue to. And let it sit for a nice sunny day. It's not so humid as this, because it's just pouring down rain outside my shop. It must be 100% humidity out there, and that glue is going to take forever to set. And if you touch it or move it or it gets bumped, you could glue in the wrong position, and then you're really in for a nightmare to get it off again. So hang in there, guys. I guess the next step will show the finished cleaned up part and me putting it on there. Well, we got the majority of the glue off of this, all the old stuff, and that's going to be easy to tape this up, or double-sided, or if I decide to glue it up. So I think I'll glue it up and have a good surface to glue to here. Took about 30 minutes to get it all off, and it's all polished up as good as it's going to get. That's as good as aluminum gets, you know. Maybe we'll get some of that stain off there, that etching is taking place with some type of material. I don't know what that is. That burn into this aluminum, but try to get that off and polish it up a little bit. Put her back on. Let's see what it looks like on. Just stick right like that. Pretty nice looking, I think. Oh, back from the dead, working, clean. Of course, I couldn't do a lot to it because I don't have the schematics to it, so I couldn't get in there and aggressively clean it. I just had to clean it as best I could and be real careful with the parts on it, because I didn't want to get in there and break something free and not even recognize I had broken it free, or wasn't wired properly, or what was wrong with it. It didn't start work. It didn't come back on work again. Okay, so that's pretty much it. It's done and ready to rock and roll. If you have any questions, give me a holler. Dave, Texas. Bye.